Hi, everybody. Welcome to my live. I wanted to do this live. It's an issue that came up. I get asked it a lot, obviously, when I work on sex with couples. And it just also came up in the group. But it's really like something I deal with all the time because it goes from larger to smaller. Like some women say, can I learn to like sex at all, when I'm not in the mood? And like, yes, unless you are really asexual, then you probably have responsive desire and you can start to like sex when you're not in the mood. That's like a basic tenet of how women work and what I talk about a lot, right? But then people sometimes ask about specific things. So, like, he likes oral, I don't. Like, what do I do? Can I learn to like it? Of course. I mean, this is like my podcast, The Cult of Boundaries and Preferences. You don't come out of the womb like knowing anything in bed, right? Every single thing that you learned to do in bed, you learned with some partner. And people imprint on their early experiences. And after that, it's just like, those memes about how people just like music. Like, is it really a good song or was it made during the years that you were 15 to 23? Like, that's funny, right? But it's the same with sex. Anything that you liked during that time, you're always going to like. But can you still grow and learn? Obviously. Like, you learned everything for your job and for parenting in later years than that, right? There's obvious research evidence that kids have to taste something 12 times at least before they start to like it. So why would it be any different with adults? The first time you have sex, like most women at least think it's weird and gross and awkward or even painful, and you get used to it. And then you start to like it. You got to get used to something before you even know if you like it or not. So that's the same with anything in bed, out of bed, anywhere. That's like behavior theory. That's why exposure therapy works. This is learning. I mean, like, but the thing is, and what I talk about all the time, the only reason that like people say this is because sex is made to be such a sacred cow in our society. Like, it's so different than anything else. And I have a podcast on this recently. It's called The Sex is Special Philosophy Really Bites Couples in the Ass. And that's true because in no other domain would a person think you're supposed to already like everything that you're ever going to like. And if you try to like something that you don't already like, then you're not being true to your core. Like, what? Like, so is that how you showed up at spin class or Zumba? Like, were you like, I don't know those moves yet, so I don't think that's my core self, and I think it probably is a bit coercive for you to try to teach me that pattern of steps. No, like, come on. You try to get outside your comfort zone. You try to say, when I get good at that, maybe I'll like it. And you do. Most of the time, the reason people don't like something is they're not good at it yet. This happens with little kids all the time, right? And this is the whole growth mindset. I used to work in Carol Dweck's lab as a research assistant in Columbia years ago. Everybody loves Carol Dweck now. Boy, she hit the mainstream years ago with growth mindset, right? So everybody's got growth mindset until it comes to the bedroom. Then it's like death mindset. It's like, I will never learn anything new. Anything else that I learn is against my core self, and I'm basically done here. What? Like, it doesn't make any sense. That does not make any sense. So, I mean, I'll take questions on this if you guys have it. But in general, and send your likes if you are watching, please. But in general, this is a ridiculous philosophy that just because you don't like it already, then you're never going to like it. How do you parent? I mean, kid comes home, they're like, I don't like math. And you're like, man, you're like, just hold it right there. Let me Google some schools that don't teach math. Unschooling, here we come. Of course not. You say, you don't like math. You probably didn't get to know math yet. What happened? You didn't do well at something? Did you not do well at a test? Let's go through math. Let's practice math. You don't say, well, that's it. You're never going to do math again. Like, no one would say that. And then the same person that would go over and over things and tell their kid about growth mindset and our brain is always growing and our neurons are developing, that person will say, I don't like whatever. And this isn't just in bed. It's a lot of stuff with relationships because relationships are fetishized and they're put on this pedestal as though like everything's supposed to be either a rom-com or a porn, and life is neither one of those things. So it's like people say, well, we didn't end up going out to eat because we couldn't agree on where to go. What? Who cares what food you ingest? What difference is it? You go to a nice place, you hang out together, maybe you'll learn to like a different cuisine. This is a shock, you know? But why? This is why children now, they have literal specialists that work with picky eating. Guess what? I'll save you a lot of money. Guess what that person does? They introduce new foods. They gradually do it. They charge money, as they should. Anybody should charge money who's working with people. And they basically reduce the parents' anxiety about introducing the new food that their kid doesn't like exactly right away. And sitting with the feelings of anxiety that comes from giving your child something that they may not like right away. And I have a post about this. Are your own past experiences preventing you from teaching your child frustration tolerance? And in all cases, when a parent cannot teach a child frustration tolerance, they have to look inward at why, right? So anyway, and you also can't teach a kid frustration tolerance if you model zero frustration tolerance in the bedroom, out of the bedroom, with the relationship, with hobbies, with work. I mean, what do you do when you have to do something you don't want to do at work, right? You just say like, oh, I don't like that. So this isn't the career I want because I have to do this thing I don't like that actually I never tried, but I think I don't like it because I tried it one time, maybe, or I thought about trying it. No. So, and there's 26 of you watching, so please do send a like or love or something if you are watching. This is a super, super important topic with relationships. And as I'm saying, with all human relationships, including parenting, including friends, coworkers, flexibility and open-mindedness are key. Neither one of those things is there when you say, I am what I am, like Popeye, Sure, you could have certain temperaments. Sure, you could have certain preferences, but people can learn and grow. What a depressing philosophy to think that people can never change their mind on anything. How would that, how, how would that happen? How could you go to college with that mindset, or on the job, or parenting, or anything? But yet in bed, it's like, no, I like these two things. And anything else, you can't make me do it because I don't like it already. And so therefore, I can never try to learn to like something I don't like, because if I have a moment of lack of pleasure in it, then, you're forcing me to do something I don't want to do. So is that what you would want your child to say to you about math? Or about like trying a new food, or about being polite when they don't want to be polite, or about making their bed when they don't want to make their bed, brushing their teeth, anything like that? Would you want your spouse to say it to you about seeing a movie they don't want to see, going to a restaurant they don't want to go to, going to the pumpkin festival if they don't want to go, anything? People have to try to learn to like things that they don't like to be a human being in society, because you do not start liking things until you get good at them, and you can't get good at them until you practice them. So it's an entire philosophy of open-mindedness and coming from a place of, yes, I will try that new thing. If anybody has any questions, I got a couple minutes to answer any questions in this live. You could comment below, you could comment hello, or anything that you want, or what you think about this topic, or any questions you have about trying new things in bed or out of bed. Because this is a huge, huge aspect, by the way, of anxiety. People who are anxious will not try new things, and then things get worse and worse and worse, because exposure therapy is what cures anxiety, right? That's the treatment for anxiety. But if you don't expose yourself to things that make you uncomfortable, then you just perpetuate anxiety and closed-mindedness. That's the problem. That's like, and it becomes in every aspect, not just in that one aspect. Whatever aspect it is, it grows. It is his school refusal, right? I mean, this big topic of school refusal. Nowadays, kids don't want to go to school. Why? Because they say, I don't want to. And then the parent thinks it means something about their core identity and sense of self. It means who the fuck wants? Who wants to? Like, who wants to get up in the morning and go? Until you're there, you don't get in the swing of it. Anyone would rather stay in their bed than get up and do a bunch of stuff they don't want to do, and then do something else, get on the bus and whatever. Anyone. If you're ever offered to do nothing, people will take that. A majority, especially people who tend toward anxiety or depression, will always take that if that's on offer. But that's a dangerous offer, because then people start to do less and less and less and less. And it's always because it's their core self, but it's not. That's just one aspect of who you are doesn't want to do X. There must be another aspect of you and a deeper, greater value of learning, of trying, of growing, right? In all aspects. So David says, good morning. Good morning, David. Thank you very much for listening and participating. And if anybody else wants to say hi, that would be awesome. I see you guys all watching me, so send likes and say hi. This is a super, super big and important aspect of being in a relationship or being a human being. So if this is something that you struggle with, getting outside. Hi, Francis. Thank you for saying hello. If this is something you struggle with, therapy helps with this a great deal. If you know that you're closed-minded and rigid, therapy and coaching can help with this. And this is something that is a core thing that is worked on in therapy, is people not being scared of new things. I have a post, when anxious people fear growth and change, right? And that's real. That is what anxious people fear anything that is different. And so how can you not be hypocritical? Tell your kids to try new things. Tell your kids to be open-minded to new people, new things. Oh, if you go on a play date and they want to play Monopoly and you want to play Sorry, should you just leave? No. You should say, okay, let's play Monopoly this time. Maybe we'll play Sorry next time. Right? Obviously, right? Obviously, you should try to do that. If the parent offers you a snack, should you say, no, I don't like any of those snacks. Let me look in your cabinet? Obviously not. You pick a snack, eat it. Of course, I guess you could say I'm not hungry. That's not very polite. Eat something. Eat a little something. The person's offering it to you. It's so funny. If it goes to like a different culture, people are like all about it. They're like, if you travel, you got to accept the food of the family that's offering it to you because that's their culture. Their culture is to feel good about offering you something, and you got to, accept it. That's everybody's culture. That is life. If somebody invites you to do something, somebody suggests something, try to do it. That is a much happier, healthy lifestyle than just saying what you can't do over and over and over, in bed, out of bed, with groups, with friends, with work, with everything, If a person does not want to do something, that is not an indicator that is against their core being to then try to do it. That's an indicator that something makes you anxious. You probably haven't tried it much before. Now, if you try something for like hundreds of times and you don't like it, all right, maybe you could conclude you don't like it. Or maybe you could conclude you weren't really letting yourself try to enjoy it. Whatever you would tell your child about math homework is probably what you should tell yourself about everything if you tend to be in this domain. Maybe you didn't like geometry. Maybe algebra will be for you. So let's not throw out all of math. Let's think. Maybe there's a different kind of math. Maybe you need a math tutor. Maybe, I'll sit down with you and we'll do math together. Maybe there's some guy on YouTube that could explain this better. Any of those things that you would say to your kid about math is something that you should say to yourself about whatever makes you anxious or uncomfortable, from sex to dating to saying things emotionally, giving compliments. A lot of people are like, oh, I just don't like to do that. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. But do you want to be in a relationship? Well, then I guess you got to try, and then you try. Read my posts about compliments. Go see a therapist. Go Google how to give a compliment. Of course, it's going to feel anxiety provoking if you've never done it. And if you didn't grow up doing it, all of these things people are so anxious to do is because they didn't grow up doing it. That's all. It's nothing about your core self and identity. You literally didn't grow up doing it, so you think it's weird. That's it. And then you could get past that. All right, I do have to go now. Thank you so much, everybody, for participating. Send me a last like, join my secret group, blue subscribe button, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.